So you have 5 coffee chicory blends, J, K, L, M, N, and they are all priced differently. So that's the first piece I get. So 5, see how we're building this slowly. 5 coffee blends, and then you have the names of those. And each of these contains what? Chicory and coffee. That's what the name even suggests, right? Like this. Now you read further. The blends are such that the greater the proportion of coffee, the more expensive the blend. And the greater the proportion of chicory, the stronger the flavor. So that's two different pieces of information. I'll first write down what I got about coffee. So what it means is the more coffee that there is in a blend, the more expensive it is, right? So more coffee means higher price, simply put like this. Similarly, what did I find out? The greater the proportion of chicory, stronger the flavor of the blend. That means more chicory corresponds with what? Stronger flavor. Okay, so that's my note here. Now, what is the question asking? If the 5 blends were ranked in order of cost per kilogram, which would fall in the middle? So, question asks which blend has price in the middle, right? Now, this is all we have from the notes, and I'll put the question also, which blend in middle. Again, you don't have to be very grammatically correct, and this is about increasing order. See how I'm just showing the notes this way: increasing order in cost per kg. Now, you've translated all of this, you've created your notes, you will not have to at least come back to the passage for this information again. Now, at this stage, are you straight ready to move into the statements? Absolutely not. This is just the translation of the passage. Remember, I said owning itself has two different parts. Until here, what you've done is you've translated your data set. What is left is for you to draw inferences. So translate and infer. When you do that together, it means you're not just reading statement and writing them in shorthand. What it also means is you're understanding everything given before you get into statements. So now let's just see what all we can infer from all this information. Here now, we'll only look at our new translated version. So, what relationships do we have? We have two relationships. One is you have this connection between coffee and price. Another is you have the connection between chicory and the flavor. These are the two connections that you have in all. Now, the question is asking about the ranking of price. Now, think coffee is directly connected with price, which means if your statements give you information about coffee, then we can infer about price, right? That connection is clear. See what I'm saying? I'm saying if I have coffee, then I can connect it with price. But if I have information about chicory, can we conclude anything about the price, or would you say that the connection is only with flavor, so you can only tell how strong the flavor is? Well, actually, you still can conclude about the price, and see how. Remember, your blend contains only two things: coffee and chicory. So, if you know the chicory amount, then you also automatically know the proportion of coffee. For example, if I say that chicory is higher in proportion, that automatically means coffee is lower in proportion, and then you know coffee is connected with price. Similarly, if I know chicory is low in proportion, then coffee is high, and that also connects with price. So you see how something we thought was only connected with flavor did also have a connection with price. So we've gone from just one quantity linked with price to both quantities linked with price. And such is the power of drawing inferences. Now, before I wind up this series of inferences, I can see one more thing. They can either give me the quantity of chicory straight away, which I have connected with price this way, or they could give you information about flavor, because flavor and chicory are both connected. That means, suppose I know that my flavor is high. What does that mean? If it's stronger, if it's a stronger flavor, then that means your chicory proportion is high, which then means again coffee proportion is low, which then connects with price. Which means whether my statements directly give me chicory proportion or they give me information about the flavor, I will be able to connect that with the overall price of the blend, and which is what I ultimately want also. Now, this is complete inferences drawing that we did here, translated it first, then inferred all we could. Now we're ready to go into step 2, where we visualize the approach. We decide what is it that we will look for in a statement, how will we decide it's sufficient or insufficient. Well, since you want to find the coffee blend that has price in the middle, we should visualize the pricing of all 5 blends on a number line. If we do this, say you have your 5 prices here, you will be able to see which one is in the middle, right? So we should analyze the information presented in the statements, draw inferences, and then place the pricing of the coffee blends on a number line. Now, with all of this information, having understood the data set, completely owned it, visualizing the approach, we are ready for step 3, where we execute the approach. So, this is where we will analyze every single statement, see what it gives us. So what does statement 1 say? It says blend L has higher proportion of coffee. You know, coffee is directly connected to price. Higher proportion of coffee than the other blends, except, okay, so it's not always, except for blend M. So what does this mean? First, I'll just write this in a more visual format. L higher proportion than the others, but lower proportion than M. So L is less than M. But what are the others? You have J and K and N. This. Now, from all of our understanding, the inferences we drew, the translation we did, we already know more coffee means higher price. And that's why here, if I arrange all 3 of these according to proportion of coffee, I will automatically have arranged them according to the price also. So let's try to arrange them, see them on a number line. So first, L is less than M means if I put them on the number line, L is on the left, M is on the right. Now, the first relationship, L is greater than JKN. Now, where is J or K or N? Do I know the relationship among these 3? I don't. So I know they will fall in this region, J and K and N, all of them, but I don't know how these 3 are ordered amongst themselves. So although I know some idea about coffee proportion, I don't have exact details. And therefore, this is also the same relationship of price. Now, what was your question? Remember, you wanted to find the middle one, the third one like this. Although I'm sure this is where L is, this is where M is, I don't know anything about J or K or N. Any of these 3 could be here in the middle position. And that is why this statement is not giving me the information I wanted. See how easy and how quick it was to reject because we had everything already thought through. So since this statement is out, A and D are also out. Now we'll take this further into the second statement and see if that helps us. Okay, here is statement 2. Blend K and blend N both have a stronger flavor than blend J. Now, what do I know about flavor? From all of our notes here, we know that more chicory corresponds with a stronger flavor. That means this time we are connected with another part of the blend. Coffee was what we had in the first statement, chicory in the second. And from all of our inferences, we know even chicory is going to help us if we have the right kind of information. So it definitely makes sense to pursue this further. Now, if blend K and N have stronger flavor than blend J, let me actually put it like this. There is J here, and then I have K and N both on the right side. I don't know the order between these two. I know K and N will both be here. So essentially what I'm saying is it could be J, K, N like this, or it could be J, N, K like this. We're not putting this really here. Now, if I know only about these 3, then I only know about the chicory content in these 3, which means that I will be able to find something about coffee also in just these 3 based on chicory. But then, since this does not give me information about all 5 blends, how will I ultimately be able to connect this? How will I be able to find the middle among all 5 of the blends? I don't have enough information, and that's why you don't even have to go that deep into it. However, I will draw inferences about just these 3 here because anyway we have to now combine our statements. So see, I have this thing drawn for stronger flavor, which means this thing is drawn for chicory. Now I know from our inferences that if chicory is more, then ultimately coffee is less, which means price is less. Similarly, if chicory is less, then coffee is more and price is more. So if you just directly see the connection between chicory and price, they move in opposite directions. And therefore, here where I have chicory really, the more chicory there is, the lower the price is. So if I really try to draw this according to price, the same three, and this time J will be on the right and the other two will be on the left of J. They will have a lower price because of a stronger flavor. But again, as I said, we don't have information about the other two, and therefore choice B is also out. Now we will finally combine the two statements and see what we can do about it. All right, so here you have your two statements together. I've just brought in the individual representations we did for their prices. Now, I want to overall find the price in the middle. Let me just see what extra I got. Well, from statement 1, I had no information about J, K, and N, but statement 2 now told me about J, K, and N only. So, statement 2 gave me something that the first statement was missing. So, maybe this will help. Let's just see. I know from this first chart, let me just actually number this. I know from the first number line that the order between L and M is this for sure. And then I also knew that J, K, N are all three going to be on the left. Now among J, K, and N, because of the second number line, I know J is the greatest in terms of price. So J will be here, while this time K and N will be on the left. I still do not know about them. So does it mean I still can't say anything? Not at all. Remember, we only wanted this thing in the middle, the third position. And here, when you see everything combined, you can see that J is going to be in the middle, irrespective of the actual order between K and N. So the statements together really did give me the correct answer. So if I go back to my choices here, I will have C as the correct answer. Now, this is where you can see the treatment that we did for all three statements one by one. I'm going to quickly discuss some faltering points that are there in this question. If you answered this question correctly, but you were not confident about your approach, then most likely you did not draw the inferences that we did here. So, corrective action for you is that you should pause for 10-15 seconds after translating the question, and you should force yourself to think about inferences before you look at the statements. This part here is relatively easy, just translating and putting it in your own words. But this part here, where you spend more time with it, is crucial, because this is the place where we understood that not only does coffee have a connection with price, chicory also has an inverse connection with price through coffee. So very, very important that you do that. Now, in this entire question, if you ended up selecting choice B, then that means you thought the second statement was sufficient here. In that case, you faltered because you brought information from statement 1 while analyzing statement 2, which means essentially you were not solving them separately, you were actually solving them together, while you should have done statement 2 individually. So corrective action for you is that you must master the process of solving DS questions. It is a very interesting question type. You have to be careful that you never drag information from here to there. You know when you've done this, what's the next thing you do.